Today on the channel, we're gonna have a Willie good time because I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. Maybe I'll stick to the old day job, but today we got the NECA Toys Willie Nelson unboxing and review.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another NECA unboxing and review. And today on the channel, we got something special, something I've been waiting for. We got Willie Nelson, but for all your Willie Nelson needs and a whole lot more, make sure you're hitting up Entertainment Earth. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10% on all in-stock items. Anything over $79 does ship free. And Willie Nelson comes to the NECA line here today. Outlaw country's finest and one of the most prolific songwriters, artists, performers, whatever you want to call him. Willie Nelson, a cultural icon. And I didn't really have a deep affection for Willie Nelson until maybe early 90s, 94, let's say, something like that. I was just a kid at the time. And when I saw most country artists in the 80s, man, they weren't for me. I wasn't a big fan of that George Strait stuff, even to the 90s, the Garth Brooks stuff. That just, country does not resonate with me. But I go back with country, I go back to my childhood, going to my grandparents. And both sets of my grandparents loved country music. They both absolutely loved the Statler Brothers. Shout out to Statler Brothers out there. Flowers, counting their flowers on the wall, that kind of stuff. But they love the Statlers, but I also got to watch some Hee Haw, the Buck Owens, things like that. Ray Stevens, I mean, all that kind of stuff, like the old school TNN country type stuff, and even PBS kind of country stuff. But I didn't like the Reba McEntires, anything like that. But man, once I got into my college years, I really got an appreciation for the Waylons, the Willies, and the boys, of course. And Waylon Jennings, my all-time favorite country artist. But man, I love Willie Nelson. Give me Roy Clark. Give me Buck Owens. Give me some of those classic ones. Dangerous Don Rich. There's a lot of country gold out there, and Willie Nelson is a big part of that. Now, Willie Nelson has well over 100 albums, tours very consistently. The first time I saw Willie Nelson, I saw 3 shows in a row with Willie Nelson and Bob Dylan. They were touring minor league baseball fields. It was amazing, though. And I was like, well, I'm going to see what this Willie thing's all about. And I could not believe at the time these people seemed like they were just ancient. They were probably like in their 60s, who knows. But they were like jamming out to Willie Nelson. I'm like, this is a party. This is what this is about with Willie Nelson. So Willie, from that moment on, I became a pretty good fan. And at one time, I owned his entire catalog on CD, which is absolutely crazy if you guys see my CD collection video back in the day on the channel. But Willie just really stole my heart and never let go. Obviously, if you have that many albums, you got some highs and lows, some ebbs and flows. Not everything can be the Redheaded Stranger, of course, and things like that. But love his albums with, of course, Waylon Jennings. Love the Highwaymen. There's a lot of good Willie Nelson stuff out there. So I was very excited when NECA announced a Willie Nelson figure. Man, get me Waylon Jennings. NECA, you're on the clock. I need a Waylon Jennings figure stat. I'm getting Lemmy this year from Super 7. I've had King Diamond. Now I got Willie Nelson. Get me the Waylon Jennings. Hopefully that does come one of these days. But we got our first Willie here. I can see easy repaints. I can see a lot of repaints of this Willie in the future. We'll see what happens, see how this sells, see if the Willie Nelson fan base converts to toy figure buying. We'll see what happens, but definitely cool to get this. Definitely an iconic figure, and of course, we're going to do this figure review like we do all the other ones on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And we've seen this style of NECA figures before, most recently on the channel with some of the Misfits figures, the Crimson Ghost there. We've seen that. We've seen Elvira. We've seen a lot of these. They almost feel a little bit like a Barbie doll in a lot of ways to me. And if I had my preferences, if I had a decision, if I had any part of the decision making for this, I would have rather had a more NECA style, regular style figure for Willie Nelson. Very similar to the new Iron Maiden figure that's coming out. As this is okay, but it's not exactly what I want, but this will do. This is better than nothing at the end of the day, and who knows, I get them out of the package, it may win me over, but definitely cool. Of course, Bon Scott, Angus Young we've had in this packaging before. We've seen Sergeant D, Vic Rattlehead. That seems kind of the way they're going with a lot of these ones. So is what it is what it is. But there's old Willie Nelson down here in all of his 80s glory there, looking for his friends out there, beer for my horses, things like that. Maybe he's looking for Toby Keith. Who knows what he's up to. But Willie Nelson right there. Love the inclusion of Trigger. You can't have Willie Nelson without Trigger. We'll talk about that in a second here. Willie Nelson, once again, looks like just like an 80s album cover is what that kind of looks like to me. Willie Nelson on the side as well. And then on the back, we even got a little blurb, and it's got an outlaw. He's an outlaw right there on the back. Wanted, the one and only Willie Nelson. Love how that looks. He's like a young Cactus Jack, really, at the end of the day. Willie Nelson, Cactus Jack, some of the all-time most wanted people of all time. Let's see what it says about Willie Nelson back here. The pioneer of outlaw country still blazes his own path and plays by his own rules. And Willie really put that middle finger up to the system back in the day. If you're familiar with the music business in Nashville back in the day, and how, they had background people like Waylon, he was the other one. Of course, Waylon and Willie, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. They both said, forget this business here. I want my own band. I want to do my own thing. I don't want to just put out these cookie cutter albums. I want to write my own songs. I don't want to write songs for other people all the time. I want to do my own thing, and that's what Willie and Waylon did. Man, it takes a jump like that to move into the future. You got to take chances. As they always say, you got to bet on yourself. It's tough to do. It's scary to do. Some of us have full-time jobs that pay real well, and you'd love to just take a chance, but it's tough. It's tough. But Waylon and Willie did it, and it worked out for them. Did it not? Did it not? There you go. There it is. Willie's unmistakable voice and honest music have echoed through the decades on records and in the public arena, from hit albums to charity work to his vocal activism for important social issues. What could those issues be, I wonder? I think we all know. With no sign of stopping, this American legend truly is the last man standing, the last outlaw standing in a lot of ways. Christopherson's still around, but I don't really count him as an outlaw. I don't. You guys tell me. Willie Nelson includes Trigger guitar with strap, bandana, cowboy hat, and guitar-playing hands. Of course you got to have guitar-playing hands. So I'm excited. I'm excited to dive in on this one. This might be a double-up club member. This might sit at my office at work, and this may also sit in my collection as well. A little background there, the stage lights. All those lights, they get hot. They get hot. But there we go. Skyhook over the side there. There it is. And then we got Willie in the old plastic prison. Man, we're having a really good time already. I can see this one going really good. Pull out old Trigger there. Possibly one of the most famous guitars of all time. And we'll talk about that in a second here. And get Willie out. And that is it. That is it. See you later. Goodbye. Oh, silica packet off to the side. See you later. Goodbye. Now let's dive into these accessories first here with Willie Nelson. Now it does say guitar playing hands, and I get what they mean there. I guess I read that as extra hands with this. There is no extra hands for Willie Nelson. But you do got a cowboy hat for Willie. Man, I love a cowboy hat. I do not own a cowboy hat. I am going to Texas tomorrow as I'm filming this. Tomorrow? What is time? But I'm headed to Texas. Man, maybe I get myself a cowboy hat. Maybe I go down there and I ask one of these guys, all right, I need a cowboy hat. Fit me a cowboy hat here. But I've always wanted a cowboy hat. I just don't think I could pull it off. I don't think I could pull it off, but maybe one day. Maybe one day. But definitely Willie can. He's got a very cool one here. Almost looks like an Indiana Jones hat. He's got the nice bend in it there. Just definitely looking like Willie Nelson cowboy hat. And you got to have a cowboy hat with old Willie. And then, of course, you got to have a cowboy hat. You got to have a bandana, man. We haven't seen bandanas this cool since the Rock and Roll Express in Mid-South in the 80s. That's for sure. But definitely a cool bandana. Willie always having a bandana. I think still to this day usually has one wrapped around his head. It truly is his calling card. You got the red and the silver. Just looks like something my grandpa would have in the back pocket when he's working in the shop, you know, blowing his nose, wiping his sweat off. You know, grandpas back in the day, grandpas in the 80s, they loved a bandana. They would have it. They'd use it for things. Willie, no different. He was probably a grandpa in the 80s too, I'm sure. And then you get down to Trigger and the guitar strap. Talk about an iconic duo. Of course, guitar straps all day long. There's a lot of guitar straps out there. There's that lightning bolt one, of course, and you know there's a leather guitar straps, red ones, all different colors. But this one is a different level Willie has here. This is like a guitar strap you don't see very often. Usually it's just a one sling over the side. Willie wears this over his head. It's like almost like beading. It's like a jewelry almost. It kind of what it's always felt like to me. And then he strips it over Trigger there, and it's ready to go. So very iconic, this guitar strap. If you've ever seen Willie Nelson, and most of us have, or you've seen him on TV, he has this guitar strap on. I mean, talk about classic. And speaking of classic, this guitar. Of course, an amazing guitar here. Willie's had this for like 100 years. You know what I mean? But he's had this forever. This is an old guitar, and it shows its wear. It's got personality personality to the 10th degree. This might have the most personality and seen more things than all the other guitars in the world put together. I mean, this has been on tour with Willie. It's been recorded with Willie. I mean, Willie's in his 90s. This has been around a heck of a long time. And one of the coolest things about Trigger is he's had all of his friends and family and people he likes or adores, whatever, autograph or carve their initials, carve their names, sign their name on this guitar. So if this guitar could talk, it's had so many people touching it, so many people autographing it. I don't know what the plan is for this guitar when Willie finally hangs it up or, you know, passes away one day. But this needs to be like some kind of a museum. This needs to be like being a national museum. Everybody can walk by and see it, pay their respects, and really check this out. Not many guitars have the miles that this Trigger guitar does have. So I'm very happy we didn't just get some generic guitar. And that's not like NECA. They're not just giving us some generic guitar. They're going to give us something special, and that's what we get here with Trigger. Even has the holes there on the side. I mean, can you imagine how much playing it takes to wear a hole like that through there? Of course, 6-string classical style guitar, I guess you would call it. Got the gold at the top. You got the strings. Definitely an aged brown on here. Definitely looking cool. I don't think you can really pull out any of the names too much. At least I can't with my vision. I don't know. But definitely you can see like how it's scribbled in there and the dirt and the grime. Just definitely iconic, definitely cool. So who thought we talked that long about a guitar? Not me, but there it is, definitely warranted. And now we get Willie here. And Willie looking interesting. Looking Willie interesting is what he is. Just a plain black shirt going on. And then you got some high-waisted pants. Some gray pants, got a belt buckle. Would have liked a real cowboy belt buckle, but beggars can't be choosers. Give me a big old circular one. Would definitely be interesting. But he does kind of feel like a Barbie doll, and that's what these NECA figures kind of feel like to me, really, at the end of the day, a Barbie doll. I wonder if we're staying... Now, you're not going to have naked Willie Nelson. You're not going to have shirtless Willie Nelson, I wouldn't assume. But I could see this staining over time. I believe the Misfits ones stained over time as well, but you're really not going to have those without their big robe on. So it's one of those things there, but I wouldn't be shocked to see staining eventually on this Willie Nelson underneath there. But definitely interesting, just definitely very plain Jane as far as the body style, everything else, very Barbie-esque. It is what it is. But then you get to the head. Now, this is the difference here between this style of NECA figures and some of the others. You get the bigger heads here. The more design into the head because they're bigger, and it definitely looks like Willie Nelson. Somebody hands you this, who is this? Most people would be able, with at least one hint, if not any hints, tell you who this is. The braids, to me, is a dead giveaway. The grayish beard there. Of course, the nose and the eyes. It's Willie Nelson all day long. There is no doubt about it. And, of course, that bandana just slides over the top, and especially you add that to it. Man, that's Willie Nelson all day long, and twice on Sunday, there's no doubt about it. Now, articulation, the head does move around up and down, side to side. You do get the arms that go around, so you can move those all the way around. He does have a bicep cut. He does got double-jointed elbows, not pinless, though. Hands back, forth, side to side. Love this hand. He's got a guitar pick in there. He's got the bend. He's ready to play Trigger. He's ready to make the music that made a lifetime of people sing, I guess. Now, I was going to say generation, but it's really multiple lifetimes of people at this point. He does get a little waist back and forth. Does got a little ab crunch back there. How about that? How about the old Willie splits? It's okay. It's okay. It's Willie Nelson. He's not Spider-Man at the end of the day. Thigh cut. You get the side to side at the top there. You do get the knees. I'm trying to feel through like a young Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, trying to figure out if I can feel a double jointed. It feels like single knees to me. I could be wrong, but I think it's single knees. Ankles back, forth, side to side, up and down. And of course, he's got some cowboy boots, but they trick us here. They're just cowboy shoes, not boots. Man, I want the full-on shoes. What are we doing there? So we do have that. And then, of course, does he fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save 10%. Willie fits really good on the stand. Or I should say, Willie good on the stand. Put the old cowboy hat on him. Oh my gosh, we're just down to the races. We're getting after it with old Willie here. You throw Trigger on him. Man, you just complete the whole thing. Just a very, very cool idea to get a Willie Nelson figure. I absolutely do love this. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Is this correct? This is playing with my head here because he has a guitar pick in his right hand. Okay, let me try this again. Let me try to get this off. Am I messing up here, or did they mess up the hands on this? I feel like it's got to be this way. They mess this up a little bit here because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Willie plays it straight down like this with this going up. So to be able to play it correctly, That I don't like. I don't like that mistake. And I could be wrong, but no, that's right. Never mind. Take it all back. Rewind Michael Winslow style. You just got to move it around a little bit. But I could have sworn he played this up and above, but that wouldn't make sense either. So I'm all wrong. I'm all wrong. This is the correct way. You got the pick hand here. He's ready to go. He's got his hat on. Man, we're in for it with Willie Nelson here. You just gotta get it playing right here, and I'll get it for the glamour shots, of course. But definitely something cool, something different, and to me, we're one step closer to a Waylon Jennings figure. Get me the Waylon Jennings figure. Call Shooter Jennings his son. I'm sure he would be okay with it. He would be okay. He'd say, sure, give me the check and we'll do it. He loves his dad's legacy. I love his dad's legacy. Let's get the whole Highwayman. Don't stop there. We've had Johnny Cash in the past. Let's get Johnny Cash. Let's get Waylon Jennings. Chris Christopherson, I guess we'll take him. We got to have him in here, I guess, for the Highwayman. But let's complete that off. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And then after that, we'll get the Traveling Woolberries. Let's get them done too, and we can go from there. But definitely like what I see here. This is just hitting right now, so if you're after it, be on the lookout. But very fun to have a Willie Nelson figure here in 2023 from NECA Toys. But what say you? What are your thoughts on this Willie figure? All in, all out, don't care? Gonna pick it up? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell, as we've got figure reviews every single day and a whole lot more. And we got even more content for you on the Patreon. Patreon, your best way to support this fair YouTube channel. You can also support the channel over there at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. And don't forget to follow me on social media on the X, SirPaul64, Instagram and Threads, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Willie Nelson, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.